Forget what you've seen in movies. Forget the romanticized image of buxom, laughing wenches in clean, rustic taverns. The reality of a medieval brothel was not a fantasy. It was a death trap, a meticulously designed ecosystem of disease, violence, and exploitation where a modern person, with modern sensibilities and a modern immune system, wouldn't last 5 minutes. We think of the past with a certain nostalgia, a simpler time. But simplicity is often just another word for brutality. And nowhere was that brutality more concentrated, more refined, than in the places where society's most desperate needs and darkest impulses converged. Welcome to Dark Chronicles. Today, we're not just telling a story, we're conducting a thought experiment. We're going to take you, a 21st century human, and drop you into a typical 15th century urban brothel. And we're going to start a clock. Your goal? Survive. Our goal? To show you why you would fail, probably before the first 5 minutes are up. This isn't about judging the past. It's about understanding the lethal reality that history has tried to sanitize. Before we push you through that door, a question. What's one modern convenience you think you couldn't live without in the Middle Ages? Soap? Antibiotics? A flushing toilet? Write it in the comments below. You're about to discover just how right you are. Now take a deep breath. Your 5 minutes start now. Minute 1. The assault on your senses. The first thing that hits you isn't a person. It's the smell. A thick, gag-inducing miasma that's a physical force. It's the smell of unwashed bodies packed together, of stale sweat, of cheap, sour ale, of rancid cooking fat, of human and animal waste from the street outside, and underneath it all, the sweet, cloying scent of sickness, of infection, of decay. Your modern nose, accustomed to sanitized, deodorized spaces, would be overwhelmed. You'd likely gag, your eyes would water. This isn't just unpleasant, it's your first warning. In an era with no concept of germ theory, a bad smell was often the only indicator of mortal danger. And in here, the danger is everywhere. The floor is a slick mess of dirt, straw, and God knows what else. The air is thick with smoke from tallow candles, which are made from rendered animal fat and produce a greasy black smoke that coats your lungs. The noise is a cacophony of slurred, drunken shouts in a dialect you can't understand, punctuated by hacking coughs that sound wet and heavy. This isn't a party. It's a petri dish. Feeling overwhelmed? We're just 60 seconds in. At Dark Chronicles, we peel back the layers of history to reveal the raw, unfiltered truth. If you have the stomach for it, subscribe and hit the notification bell. We're the only guides who will take you to the places the history books are too scared to go. You try to find a quiet corner, but there are no quiet corners. The room is packed with the brothel's main clientele: soldiers, mercenaries, and rough-handed laborers, all armed, all drunk, and all operating under a code of honor that is completely alien to you. You make a mistake. You make eye contact. A man, his face a roadmap of old knife scars, takes offense. He shoves you, hard. What do? In your world, you might call for a bouncer or the police. Here, there is no bouncer. The brothel keeper, a man who likely paid the city for the right to exploit these women, is only interested in profit. He won't help you unless you're paying him. The law? The city guard won't step foot in here unless a murder gets too loud. You are entirely on your own. Your modern posture, your clean clothes, your soft hands, they all mark you as an outsider, a target. You don't know the social cues. You don't know that staring is a challenge, that bumping into someone requires a specific apology, that the seat you just tried to take was reserved for the leader of a local gang. The slightest misstep, the wrong word, the wrong glance, could escalate into a knife fight in seconds. And the knife that stabs you is probably covered in the filth of the last person it stabbed. We think of violence as an aberration. In the medieval world, it was a tool of communication. a part of daily life. Think about the last time you felt truly in physical danger. Now imagine that feeling being a constant low-level hum in the background of your entire existence. How would that change you? Share your thoughts in the comments. It's a question that gets to the heart of the medieval mindset. Minute 3. The invisible enemy. You've survived the social test for now. You order an ale to try and blend in. It arrives in a wooden tankard, greasy to the touch. You take a sip. The ale is weak, watery, and sour. But it's not the taste that should worry you. It's what's in it. The water used to brew it was likely drawn from a contaminated river. The tankard itself was probably just given a quick wipe with a dirty rag since the last man used it. You've just introduced a host of bacteria your immune system has never encountered, dysentery, cholera, typhoid, into your body. Now, a woman approaches you. She's young, maybe 16, but her eyes look ancient. She's wearing a threadbare dress and a forced smile. She offers you her services, and this is where your 5 minutes are definitively up. Because the greatest danger in this room isn't the violence you can see, it's the diseases you can't. Let's be blunt. Sexually transmitted infections were rampant, but they weren't the STIs we know today. Before the arrival of syphilis in the late 1490s, there was a whole host of other secret diseases. Gonorrhea, or the clap, was common, and without antibiotics, it could lead to agonizing pain, sterility, and systemic infections. There were also various forms of herpes and genital warts, for which there was no treatment whatsoever. But the real terror was the unknown. Medical texts from the period describe pustules, genital ulcers, and wasting diseases transmitted through sexual contact. They didn't know what they were. They just knew they were a death sentence. And then there was the ever-present risk of contracting other, non-venereal diseases through close physical contact: leprosy, tuberculosis, smallpox, and a host of skin infections like scabies and ringworm. The woman in front of you isn't just a person. She's a walking vector for a dozen potential ways to die. And in an era where bathing was often considered dangerous, believed to open the pores to miasmas and disease, the concept of hygiene as we know it is completely absent. This level of detail doesn't come from fantasy novels. It comes from cross-referencing coroner's reports, municipal archives, and obscure medical treatises. It's deep, difficult research. If you value this commitment to historical accuracy, consider supporting Dark Chronicles on Patreon. Your contribution is what allows us to dig up the truths that have been buried for centuries. The link is in the description. Minute 4. The economic trap. Let's say you politely decline the woman's offer. You've made another critical error. You've wasted her time, and in this world, time is the only currency she has. The brothel keeper who has been watching from the corner sees this. He approaches you. He's not angry, he's smiling, and that's far more terrifying. He informs you that there's a house rule, a looking fee. Just for the privilege of having been in his establishment, you owe him a few coins. It's a scam, of course, but who are you going to complain to? You try to argue. The brothel keeper's smile vanishes. 2 of his heavily armed thugs materialize behind you. You realize you're not in a public house. You're in a predator's den. You're being shaken down, and you have no choice but to pay. This is the economic reality of the medieval brothel. It wasn't just about sex. It was about extortion. The women were often trapped in a system of debt peonage, forced to pay exorbitant fees for their room, board, and clothing, ensuring they could never leave. And the customers were seen as walking purses to be emptied through any means necessary. You might be robbed outright, cheated at a game of dice, or if you were particularly unlucky, get so drunk that you'd wake up in an alleyway, stripped of everything you own. This system of exploitation isn't just a historical curiosity, it's the ancestor of modern human trafficking. Share this video if you believe that understanding the historical roots of exploitation is crucial to fighting it today, and reflect on this. How different, really, is the medieval brothel keeper from a modern-day pimp? The technology has changed, but has the fundamental dynamic of power and abuse? Your 5 minutes are up. You've been assaulted by the smell, threatened with violence, exposed to a dozen deadly diseases, and extorted for your money. You are standing in a dark, dangerous, and alien world, and you have failed every single social test. You are utterly, completely alone. And this is the final, insurmountable reason why you wouldn't last. The psychological toll. The sheer crushing weight of the filth, the danger, the hopelessness. Your modern mind is not equipped for it. You are used to a world of safety nets, of rules, of basic human rights. This world has none of that. It is a world of raw, unfiltered survival. To survive here, you would need to become a different person. You would need to unlearn your empathy, your trust, your belief in a just world. You would need to become as hard, as callous, and as brutal as the environment around you. You would have to accept that your life has very little value, and that you could be extinguished at any moment for the slightest of reasons, or for no reason at all. So why wouldn't you last 5 minutes? It's not because you're weak, it's because you're civilized. Your humanity, your empathy, your very sense of self, the things that make you a modern person, are liabilities here. They are weaknesses to be exploited. In the medieval brothel, the only way to survive is to leave your soul at the door, and even then, your chances are slim. The past is not a storybook, it is a warning. It shows us what life is like without the structures of public health, the rule of law, and basic human dignity that we take for granted. Leave one final comment. What is the one thing from this video that shocked you the most? The smell? The violence? The diseases? The exploitation? Let's discuss it. Thank you for walking with us into the darkness. Our next chronicle will take us to the evil things Roman emperors did to their own mothers. If you don't want to miss it, and if you believe that understanding the darkness of the past is the only way to protect the light of the present, then subscribe and become a guardian of these lost stories. History is a mystery, and we are here to solve it together.